Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all again for day 4 of 7 days research methodology workshop organized by Nirmala Xavier's Autonomous College and University of Mumbai. In last 3 days, we have gone through the various topics like hypothesis, objectives, variables, and finally, yesterday we also spoke about how to frame the questionnaire. All said and done, no matter the kind of reviews that we do, the information that we collected, but we need to also check the authentic data that we have collected, the material that we are gathering, and to check on that and to know various techniques that can be used to understand the authenticity of the data. We have among us Dr. Sujata Sunil Rajpurkar to tell us more about the academic honesty in research. And it becomes my privilege to introduce her to you all. So we have Dr. Sujata Rajpurkar as a practicing librarian. She has versatile experience of serving in the college library for more than 17 years and has completed her doctorate in the year 2018 from Ascendity University. Her topic for PhD was information seeking behavior of B.Ed students in the education colleges in Mumbai. At present, she is working with St. Andrew's College, Bandra, and her interest areas are user study, digitalization, and research. She has conducted several lectures related to research. Her special areas are writing a research proposal, online literature search, and doing review, referencing, and plagiarism. She has participated in and organized several national and international conferences and workshops on library science and research methodology. She has in her credit the development of a digital library on the topic Women and IT by using Greenstone digital library software. She has several research paper publications in journals and conferences proceedings in her credit. She is the editor of St. Andrew's College in-house interdisciplinary research e-journal named an Andhram Research Journal. She has been a subject expert in many interview panels of librarians. She is a mentor of Master in Library Science student and paper setter of a Master in Library Science course at Ascendity University Library Science School. She is a member of subcommittee for the syllabus construction for 4 years BA B.Ed integrated course of University of Mumbai for the paper of library resources. We welcome you, ma'am, and without taking much of our time, I request ma'am to take over. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for this generous introduction. And good morning, one and all. At the outset, I take this opportunity to thank organizers of Nirmala Memorial Foundation College, XAVIER'S, and University of Mumbai for giving me this opportunity to interact with the aspirant PhD scholars. My topic for today's presentation is, let me share my presentation, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, you can share.
Yeah. What should I select, Windows or entire screen? I think entire screen will do.
Yeah, entire screen will do, ma'am.
Uh, it's visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is. Yes.
Okay, so my screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm audible as well, very clearly to
Very
everyone.
much. Yes.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, friends, I'm Sujata Rajpurkar. My topic for today's presentation is academic honesty in research, special reference to plagiarism. Friends, we all know about what is honesty, truthfulness and faithfulness. But when it comes to academic honesty, there is no proper definition available in the literature to know what is academic honesty. But it is known as academic integrity. And there are many institutions, educational institutions, universities, they have set their own rules and to maintain academic integrity into their research output. According to them, academic honesty or integrity is the intellectual honesty in proposing, performing, and reporting any activity which leads to the creation of intellectual property. It consists of values, principles, and ethics. The term actually covers research ethics as well as publication ethics. But today in this presentation, we are going to focus on research ethics. First, have a look on these values included in the academic honesty, which has integrity, which means researchers should be honest in their own work. Whatever ideas, whatever facts you are borrowing from others, you should be honestly tell your readers or others that okay, this paragraph or this quotation is borrowed from someone else's work. It should be full of honesty. You should develop trust amongst your readers that whatever work you are presenting is fully your own work. It has that honesty in your work. You have done it systematically. You have followed all the research ethics so that you will get maximum citations your work. When you know the person is right very well, very systematically and honestly, you blindly cite that person work in your own work. So that is the main thing of academic honesty. Fairness, which means you have to be very much fair with other resources. Whatever authors, you have to give proper credit to those resources, those people who are involved in your research. You have to acknowledge them. You have to respect each and everyone who are included, who are involved in your research process. And you should have courage to take responsibility of your own work. It should show that it is your own learning outcome. So these are the values that you have to consider when you are doing your research or research project. Now let's uh, revisit the terms research or the definition of research. Of course, it is a systematic scientific inquiry of the fact finding process which depend on the in-depth analysis of data collected from the through the real-time or observation in natural settings, and this research should be generate new questions for the future researcher. These are the main area of the research process. But from where you will start your research? No research will start from the scratch. For every research, you have to depend on the existence knowledge that is available in the existing literature. Sometimes it is available in the gray literature in the online or offline form. But whenever you are referring to this information or these publications or the other author work, you should not claim in your research that this is your own work. Of course, when you will refer existing theories, existing models, or existing research, then only you can build up your area. You can have more clarity in your topic and you can bring innovativeness in your topic through reading existing research. But there are some rules, some ethics are prescribed by the different organizations while using these existing literature or existing publications to complete your project. These are the organizations who are situated worldwide, and you can see all these subject wise organizations. But in this presentation or otherwise also, as a social scientist, social science researcher, we focus on this American Psychological Association. For us, this is very important because we follow guidelines given by this American Psychological Association. This is the association who is the pioneer in giving ethics for the research, also giving guidelines how to conduct research inquiry. Even in this manual, you will find how to use language, how your research language should be, what words you should use if you want to show benefit what words you want to show. If you want to show opposition, which words you should use in your writing. All these guidelines you will have in the American Psychological Association manual. Right now, 7th edition they have published. Till now, we were referring to 6th edition, and therefore, you will find in my presentation major information is from the 6th edition. But that is not to worry, not major thing they have changed in the 7th edition, and therefore, I have added very little thing from the 7th edition. Okay, and in India, UGC is working on this research ethic. Many of you must be aware that UGC has introduced course research and publication ethics, and they are making it mandatory to all the universities as well to conduct this course for the pre-PhD student. Many autonomous colleges in Mumbai have started this course on their own. So in India also we are having this body, University Grant Commission, who is working on this area. So next set of research ethics is value neutrality. Value neutrality means what researcher should not bring, whatever research they are doing should be unbiased and very impartial. It should be judgment free, and it should be very focused, and it should give, you should not have your personal opinion in your research. Whatever data you are collecting, whatever information you are writing or putting forth, all should be based on scientifically proven fact. It should not be your own thinking or own feeling. And therefore, whenever we write research report, we always write I think or we think. We do not write I feel or we feel, because feelings are not important in research. What you think on the existing facts, that is important. So that value neutrality should be come in your research project when you will write that. Objectivity and ideology. Whenever you are carrying out any kind of research, it should not interfere any ideological principles of researchers himself or herself. Whatever political value you are following should not be indulged in your research project. It should be free from uh, all these political values and your personal ideology. It should be totally scientifically conducted research inquiry. Deception and debriefing is very important, because in some cases, in some area of research, where you have to deceive participants. That means कभी कभी आपको उस तरह के रिसर्च में आप लोग पार्टिसिपेंट्स को हम पूरा सच नहीं बताते. Although this is the rule of research that whenever you are collecting data from the participants, you have to tell them all the truth related to your research. But in some kind of research in psychology, where you are not just telling them entire truth, but that is for the short period of time. As soon as you collect data, you should tell them why, what is your purpose and why you have done this. Means what was the reason behind hiding things or hiding any kind of thing research related, why you have done this. That immediately after collection of data you have to do with the participants. This usually happen high level of researches when the organizations or government conducts researches. That time these things happens. Correct analysis and representation. Correct analysis, you have to use right method of data, correct data analysis. You cannot use anything, or you cannot put anything in your research, or you cannot while reporting false information, you cannot report. Whatever data you have to collect, on that basis you have to do analysis. If it is not achieving what hypothesis you are set, and your data is not helping to achieve that hypothesis, but that doesn't mean you will change your data. Whatever data you have received, on that basis only you have to do analysis, and that reporting you have to do very correctly. Whatever information you are collecting from your participant should not be misused in any way. It should not harm to your participants. And then appropriate research methods. Using right methodology is very important. Or now, by now, you all are must be aware, like must be knowing which research methodology you have to use for to carry out your research. So that research methodology should match to the objectives of your research, and therefore selecting and using appropriate research method is very important in research. Then there are other set of ethics for the data collection, which includes respect. It's very much important, and is this set or this segment of ethics is accepted by all over the world organizations who are promoting ethics for the research. Respect, you have to respect each and every person who is involved in your research, including animals. Informed consent, actually, it is not the thing which can be explained in one or two lines. It's a very big thing, because informed consent include many things. It has a formal form that you have to get fill from the participants. Here you have to inform your participant beforehand. You have to take consent from them to to respond your questionnaire, to respond your survey, or to respond your observation. Sometimes you want to click photographs of the participant to show the reality, but that thing also you have to take consent from the participants. Even we go to colleges to collect the data from the student. In that case also you have to take informed consent from the principal of the college. So this is very important and very big topic. I cannot explain you one in one or two line. It itself uh, have a like a very important topic and have very big explanation. Your whatever data you are collecting from the participants, it should not harm them in any way, in either physically or mentally. There are many examples in the history. Landmark researches are there in the history where data collected from the participants, and there is an example of the syphilis medicine which was given to the people, and people first of all their impression is the government is helping them to overcome from some disease. But after some years, my 20 to 30 years, they come to know, no, this was not for the people well-being. This is for the to taste the applicability of that medicine to the common people. And then that was stopped when the newspaper media has taken this issue on the top. And then were participating in that research, they were not knowing about this. So this study you will find in the literature also. Whatever information, sensitive information you are collecting from the participants. For example, if suppose you are collecting information from the cancer patient, they may not want you to disclose that information, or you have to be very much careful. You are collecting that when you are collecting information about cancer or about something, you have to be very much careful. You have to collect this information very sympathetically and empathetically from the respondent. Many a times in many researches, people give motivation or incentives to the participant to give data, to respond to their questionnaires. Of course, this is not related to academic research, but these things are there. And they say these incentives should not be like this, where participants can't say no. So whatever incentives you are giving them to collect data, you should think about that also. And you cannot force participant to respond to your questionnaire or to respond to your uh, data collection. Whatever data you are collecting, of course, it is confidential. Otherwise, also we write in the questionnaire or in the data collection tool that whatever data will be collected will get confidential and will be used only for the academic purpose. This line you have to mention in your questionnaire. And you have to stick to that line. You cannot disclose, or you cannot in research also. I mean, in the PhD also, whatever data you are collecting, you are not disclosing that data to anyone. But of course, you have to keep that data to show in future if any anomalies come. You have to show that you have collected data with proper way, but you cannot disclose that data. You have to analyze that data. Now the next part is research conduct. There are three cardinal sins in research conduct, which is known as research misconduct, which is broadly means popularly known as FFP. FFP stand for plagiarism, fabrication, and falsification. These are the three common areas where researchers sometimes consciously or unconsciously falling into these three areas. Falsification means manipulating research materials, equipment, or process. Whatever researches are going on in the lab, you are manipulating in that and producing your research, your results, or you are manipulating in the data collection or in the analysis. You are whatever data you have collected after analyzing, you come to know that this is not matching or approving your hypothesis. You want to accept that hypothesis, but as per data, you have to reject that hypothesis. So what should be done? Can I change some details of data? No, that is not allowed, and that is falsification of data. You cannot change, you cannot omit any data. Whatever data you will receive, you have to report that information very accurately in your research report. Fabrication is making up or alteration of data. The data which is not actually existed, that data you making up. That data you bring into picture. Mainly the major example of these fabricated forms of consent or patient diaries. Patient diaries in medical science, you will get many examples of fabrication. There is very famous case of Alzheimer disease. In 2006, one of the researchers claimed that he has found reason of Alzheimer disease, and so he has found reason for Alzheimer disease, and that is why treatment of Alzheimer disease is possible. Let me tell you, till today there is no treatment for Alzheimer disease because causes are not identified by the researchers. But this article of that researcher is published in the journal Nature. Nature is supposed to be a very high level nature of high level publication of science field. When this uh, when this article read by one of the another researcher who was a neurosurgeon and who was doing research on this Alzheimer disease, he came to know about this article. He complained to the editor of that journal. Editorial board took decision to do further investigation, and then they come to know that researcher, the earlier one, has only found one segment of that disease. That is, there is an accumulation of protein on the nerve system which cause Alzheimer disease. And to experiment that, he used one rat. That rat age is not specified. Randomly, he used one rat. After doing this experiment with the other rat, it was found that in the old age, Alzheimer disease is very common, is very natural, and that earlier researcher used that old rat, and that is why his findings was nullified. He has to retract that article. That means this is fabrication. On the half data, the experiment was not done fully by taking care of entire thing. He should have taken all age group of the rats and then he should have experiment that, but he has not done that, and therefore his article, his degree was retracted. So this is the example of fabrication of data. Plagiarism, by now you all know about the plagiarism, like stealing someone ideas and facts or the articles and publishing it on your own name without giving proper credit or acknowledgement to that person. People say this is plagiarism actually a old age problem. This is not come today. People say because of the internet or because of the IT, this problem came uh, into the existence, but it is not the case. It was there since very long. Yeah, but because of the technology, prominently it came into focus. Let's have a look on the etymology of this term plagiarism. This term is derived from the Latin word plagiare, means to kidnap. The term was first time used by the Roman poet Martial, who complained that another poet has kidnapped his work. And in the English, it was introduced in 1601 by the scriptwriter Ben Jonson. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it means stealing and passing off the ideas or words, or fails to acknowledge the original researcher appropriately, unauthorized use of language and thoughts. In short, plagiarism means you are using other person's idea, word, writings without giving appropriate credit and acknowledgement. Now, can I have reasons for the plagiarism from you? Can anyone tell me what would be the reasons why people do plagiarism? Maybe consciously or unconsciously. Anyone from the participants? You can unmute, or I cannot see chat box here on my screen.
Ma'am, the participants can raise the hands and I'll allow them to unmute.
Yeah, if anyone can help me to reasoning why people do plagiarism. So,
Just a minute.
yeah,
Chetan Maru.
okay.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself, Chetan.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Ma'am, to find out the falsifications and how much the research done ethically,
Hmm.
because that plagiarism can make out easily from where you had taken the things, and who already done all that things which you are repeating,
Yes.
right?
Uh,
And ma'am, one more
uh,
request is there.
yes.
That screen sharing, can you hide, because it comes in between the slides?
Okay, okay, one second.
Thank you, ma'am.
Chetan,
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to know reasons why people do plagiarism. Why? What is the reason? I mean, we are not doing it purposely, but
Huh.
consciously or unconsciously, somewhere it is done by us. So why? What could
Ma'am,
be the reason?
to find out whether this whether this research, particular
Hmm.
research, having
Hmm.
something new concept, new ideas, new thoughts,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
which is means already the ex researchers who have already done it. Okay,
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
same
Hmm.
thing you are repeating, so
Hmm.
somewhere you means legally also we can consider it is a crime under Patent and Copyrights Act,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
right? So to find out that things they are doing plagiarisms.
No, no, no. You're not understanding my question. My question is, if you are copying something from someone work,
Hmm.
okay? So
Yes.
why you are doing that? Why you are copying? It means copying, stealing, correct? So what?
Yes.
Why?
Ma'am, we
Okay,
have
forget
some more
about your example.
participants.
Take
Yeah.
students example. Why student do this? Are students who submit
To make
assignments?
the things easy and you finish faster.
Yes. Okay. So let's look at the any
Yes,
other.
ma'am. There are many more. Khan
Okay.
Riaz or
Okay.
Ekta Singh.
Ma'am, good morning, ma'am. It
Good.
reduces the effort of the research scholars. Uh, Collection of data and other things becomes very easy,
Hmm.
where people go for plagiarism or copying the other person's data because their efforts become less.
Less, correct, exactly. Time saving matter. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
Ekta,
Yeah, ma'am. Good morning.
good
Ma'am,
morning.
sometimes it happens so that people don't realize that they are plagiarizing because they're not
Exactly. Yeah,
aware of the actual terms and concept and what is to be taken and what is to be avoided. There is
true,
no
true.
clarity. So
Ye-
there is a lot of plagiarism which basically happens
Yes.
unknowingly.
Yes, yes. I would like to add to Ekta's answer that what is and how should we avoid plagiarism. So today's presentation focus is on how it should be avoided. So these are the reasons: lack of time management, as Priya said. We don't have a time to study, to read, to analyze. We don't plan to carry out our research project. Then of course laziness to find out new information. This is not of course applicable to you, This is about students. Desire to get good grades in less efforts or without efforts, as Chetan said, it is absolutely right. Limited or no reading. This is very important. Being a research scholar, you should increase your reading. Any piece of information, if you come related to your research, just take it and read it. It may or may not be useful for your research, but it will give you insight of your research topic. Definitely. Maybe at that point you will not think this particular piece of information is useful for me, but after some time you will realize, no, that I read and that is very important, and that you will include. Then no knowledge about authentic information resources and how to use those resources, exactly what Ikta said. Less interaction with guide or teachers about the research topic. Sometimes you register, you attend all the lectures, and then you नहीं अपीयर ही नहीं होते हैं, डिसअपियर हो जाते हैं। गाइड को आपके पीछे पड़ना पड़ता है, अरे भाई आओ मिलो, काम दिखाओ, कितना हुआ है, क्या हुआ है। If you will regularly in touch with the guide, you will understand what exactly you have to write, what exactly you have to analyze in your research. Then of course, as I said, information overload. Information is flowing from various ways, and what to take, what to exclude, how to take, this knowledge is required. You should learn to filter required information. Of course, internet is the main reason. It's become very easy, copy paste, control of research ethics. Many of us are not aware before starting our research that okay, this is not allowed, this should be not done as a researcher. Willingness to complete research work hurriedly. अभी टाइम नहीं है, एक साल तो ऐसे ही बीत गया, 2 साल चले गए, अभी बस 2 साल, 1 साल का और एक्सटेंशन मिल रहा है, 2 साल में कैसे भी करके मुझे ये खत्म करना है। तो उस खत्म करने के चक्कर में many times people do this कि चलो ये रेडीमेड मिल रहा है ना, you will not believe there are ready-made research article. One article you can produce in different forms. That kind of softwares are also available. Now let's have a look on the types of plagiarism. There are many types of plagiarism. If you search on the internet, you will find. But main types of plagiarisms that I have listed here, I have taken from the APA, American Psychological Association Guide. Okay, so it is complete plagiarism, direct plagiarism, self-plagiarism, paraphrasing, patchwork, source-based, and accidental. In fact, entire information today I am presenting in this presentation is taken from the UGC circulars, UGC website, and the APA manual of the referencing. Okay, so this is all information from the authentic source which you can rely on. Now, in this set of type of plagiarism, these two are very important. These two we do very unconsciously. We do not realize that we are doing plagiarism. So let's have a look on one by one. Complete plagiarism. Here you take entire article from the other author which was published in 5 years before, 10 years before, and submit it as your own assignment, as your own paper. Or sometimes this is happens with student, of course. Sometimes this is now this example, this will happen with PhD scholars as well. Sometimes we pay to write our research project, that is ghostwriter. That is also complete plagiarism. Borrowing someone's work and submitting it as your own work, it is plagiarism, complete plagiarism. Okay, entire paper you are copying. Direct plagiarism similar to complete, but here what you do, you copy some words from that paper. You don't copy entire work, but some words which you like. Okay, which you like, some phrase which you like to get it in your paper, to include in your paper, and you are happy to involve that 2 lines or 1 line of that paper, that author, but you are not, you forget to give credit to that person. So this is direct plagiarism. This is very important, self-plagiarism, which means you are reproducing or republishing a research work or research article which you have already published. and again you are publishing as your new scholarship without acknowledging it, without citing it. You are just giving it. It gives you impression that findings are replicable, means the findings which are suitable for this one research problem that can be applicable to other research problem. It may lead to copyright violation in the duplicate publication if it comes in the light, like someone come to know that, yeah, usually we librarians immediately come to know if there is a duplication in the publication, because we always handle this aspect. So we easily come to know that this is plagiarized. So therefore, before using your own work also, you have to think twice. According to UGC, what is self-plagiarism? Or they say it is text recycling, which includes republishing, which means again you are republishing your previously published work as a totally new work after 4 5 years, after 2 3 years. Earlier this used to happen when print resources was there. People used to publish their earlier publications again and again. After 2 years, after 3 years, by adding some data, they used to publish it. But that was the publication of original one only, publishing small part of your study. You are just taking out small part of your entire study and publishing that in many a times like new publication. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you can continue. Sorry.
Okay. So many a times it happens, people remove some small part of their study and they publish it as a totally altogether new work. That is also comes under self-plagiarism without giving proper citation and acknowledgement. Breaking up longer study into the small sections. Earlier, this used to happen. Thesis, people used to submit their thesis, or before submitting thesis, you can publish ample of articles. Once you submit your thesis, you give copyright to that to the university, that okay, you are submitting this and you are transferring copyright of your thesis to the university. So once you have submitted, you cannot publish anything from your thesis, except some exceptions are there that we will see in the next slide. But I always advise to the research scholar, you can just while going on your research, just make 7 8 articles, whatever articles you want to make, and send it for the publication, because good publications always take time to be published. Like it will take sometimes 6 months, sometimes 1 year, sometimes 1.5 hour, half year also, if you want to publish in good journal. Okay, nowadays there is a fashion to publish in Scopus and Web of Science journals. Everyone is saying same thing. Published in Scopus and published in Web of Science, but the time required to publish in these journals is actual work, actual your hard work, actual efforts you require to put in that article. Then only they accept your article. They will not accept anything else, whatever. I mean, कुछ भी ऐसे आपने लिख के भेज दिया और उन्होंने publish कर दिया, ऐसे होता नहीं है. उनके पास अगर publish करना है तो you have to put 100% into that writing. So many a times people do this, they break up their long studies and publish it absolutely new publication with no citation, with no acknowledgement. Paraphrasing, you do paraphrasing of your own work and published it again without citation. And reusing data. Reusing data means whatever data you have collected. Suppose you have 4 5 objective. Accordingly, your data will be distributed into 4 5 segments. So one segment you are taking out and making it absolutely new one and publishing it again. So that is reusing of data without giving proper. All these publications are considered under the self-plagiarism when you are not citing them properly, when you are not giving, when you are not acknowledging yourself. Okay, so there are some exceptionals, and self citations do not add any numbers to your individual citation index. You know, आजकल कॉलेजेस में भी ये पूछा जाता है आपका एच इंडेक्स कितना है, आपके पब्लिकेशन को साइटेशंस कितने हैं, ये सब नैक के लिए हमें सबमिट करना पड़ता है ये सब डेटा कि टीचर्स का साइटेशन इंडेक्स कितना है. कभी कभी मेरे पास इंक्वायरी आ जाती है कि ये अमुक टीचर का एच इंडेक्स कितना है. H index is very personal thing, and that personal teacher only know how what is his or her H index, that we cannot tell. But individual citations, of course, we can find out. But when you are self-citing, self-publication, मतलब सेल्फ प्लेजरिज्म जब होता है, उस केस में जो साइटेशन आप देते हो, आप खुद को साइट करोगे ना, वो एच इंडेक्स या साइटेशन इंडेक्स में काउंट नहीं होता है. Okay, now as per APA 7th edition, there is some exception for the self-plagiarism. As I said, you can publish your doctoral dissertation after submission also as a whole or in one or more journal article, provided you should provide proper citation and you should provide acknowledgement in the author note. With that article or with that book, many people do publish thesis, I mean convert thesis into the book. So that also you can do, but you have to mention in the acknowledgement that this is your previous work published in the form of doctoral dissertation, and that is what is the aim of publishing it, to bringing it to notice of the more people, maximum people. That is why you are publishing it. Means this work is depend on your earlier work. This acknowledgement you have to provide with your publication, then it is not self-plagiarism. Then suppose you are presenting any abstract of research paper in any conference, or that abstract is published in conference proceedings, but research paper is not published. In that case, you can publish your research paper again in another journal. That is not constituted as duplicate publication or self-plagiarism. So these are the exceptions given by the APA 7th edition. Then paraphrasing plagiarism. This is very common type of plagiarism. We do it like unknowingly. We are not realizing that we are plagiarizing another work or another person's ideas, presenting someone ideas in our own work. I mean, on our own name. Sometimes you do some changes in those words, you replace those words with the synonyms, you turn that phrase in different way, you turn entire sentence, and you means we turn entire sentence and present it in a different way, but we don't give credit to that original author. That is comes under, that is count as paraphrasing plagiarism. You, if you want to, if we want to refer anything from other person writings, you can do that, but there are way you, to avoid this plagiarism. Okay, so without giving any citation, if you are citing or if you are using any word phrase, it is paraphrasing plagiarism. Then this is another type of plagiarism, mosaic or patchwork. What here, what we do here, we take some part from this article, some part from that article, 4-5 article से थोड़ा थोड़ा ले लिया और उसका खिचड़ी बना दिया और उसको हमने प्रेजेंट कर दिया अपने राइटिंग बुक्स में. Interwoven different work of different authors, और उसमें भी हमने अपना खुद का नाम दे दिया, उसके ओरिजिनल ऑथर का नाम हमने लिखा नहीं, ना कि हमने उनको साइट किया. This kind of plagiarism is very difficult to identify. People do it, but this plagiarism softwares also could not detect this, and this is very much similar to direct plagiarism. We change the terms, we change the entire sentence, and we club it together and we submit it as our own work. Another type of plagiarism, source-based plagiarism. This plagiarism is very tricky to understand. इसमें क्या होता है, हम साइट तो करते हैं, बट जो हमने साइट किया है वो हम लिखते नहीं है, हम कोई और ही सोर्स का नाम लिख देते हैं. इस तरह से हम मिसलीड करते हैं. साइटिंग एन इनकरेक्ट सोर्स एंड इवन मेकिंग अप द सोर्स, जो सोर्स एग्जिस्टेड नहीं है उसके भी टाइटल्स हम डाल देते हैं. ओके, हमने ये पार्ट देख लिया, अब ये तो वेरी कॉमन है, तो उससे रिलेटेड कोई भी सोर्स डाल दो रेफरेंस लिस्ट में कि या हमने इसमें कर दिया है, इसमें से हमने ये ले लिया है. दिस इज सोर्स बेस्ड प्लेजरिज्म. यू आर मिसलीडिंग. समटाइम्स you refer secondary source and you cite that secondary source only. You don't go for the primary source. Always you should search for the primary search before citing. And if you don't get primary search, then only you cite secondary source. And to cite secondary source also, there is some patterns, some rule that you have to follow. Accidental plagiarism. People don't realize that they are plagiarizing from another work. You can see this in cartoon that kid is saying that teacher has given me F. The father is saying, how does she give you fail? The same article I have copied 10 years before from the National Geography magazine, and he has also not cited this. So this is accidental plagiarism. People are not realizing that they are actually doing plagiarism. They forget to cite the source. Now, UGC has recommended some punishment in 2018 to curb plagiarism or to prevention of plagiarism from the research writing for students and for teachers as well. For students, 3-level punishments are there. According to UGC, 10% plagiarism is fine. If your report is consisting only 10% of plagiarism, that is acceptable. But if it is about 10 to 40% regarding student, then no mark given. Ask them to resubmit the script within 6 months. This is first level punishment. Second level punishment, if the plagiarism percentage is 40 to 60%, then no mark, revise and submit before 18 months. Means the resubmission time is expanded. Level 3 is if it is above 60%, then no marks and registration for the course can be cancelled. For teachers, there is level 1. If it is 10 to 40%, withdrawal of manuscript, they have to withdraw their manuscript and will not be allowed to publish any work for 1 year. 1 year, teachers cannot publish any work. Level 2 is if plagiarism is about 40 to 60%, they have to withdraw their manuscript. They are not allowed to publish any work for next 2 years. Their 1 annual increment is denied and not allowed for supervision of any course for 2 years. And level 3 punishment according to UGC is if the plagiarism is about 60%, मैन्यूस्क्रिप्ट विड्रॉ करनी है, उसके बाद आप लोगों को 3 साल तक कुछ भी पब्लिश करने की अनुमति नहीं दी जाएगी. Then 2 annual increment आपके डिनाई किए जाएंगे and not allowed to supervise course. Repeat of offense result in dismissal. However, these recommendations given by the UGC and this is followed only for the PhD thesis. For journal articles, every journal publisher has developed their own standard. Sometimes they allow you to 25%, sometimes they allow you to 15%, sometimes they allow you to 12% plagiarism also. So therefore you will find this different percentage, but according to UGC, it is only 10% are allowed of plagiarism in your doctoral thesis. And after checking, after detection of the plagiarism, if it will come like 12%, 13%, 14%, no need to worry. You can reduce this percentage. Now, how to avoid it? How to avoid this plagiarism from your writing? The best way to avoid this plagiarism from your writing is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is allow you to reinstate another's idea in your own uh, in your in your work. Like you have to, it allows you to summarize and synthesize information from one or more sources. It helps to focus on significant information. It allows you to compare and contrast relevant details. When you will read other person work, other author's work, that time you have to think about the how to summarize or how to synthesize that information into your research. It will help to focus significant information regarding your research topic. Means entire article may not be useful for your research, but sometimes some part of that article is significant. It will help you to understand that. It will also help to compare and contrast the research methodology which you are using for the same topic to study, and the research methodology is used by other person to study same topic, not maybe the same geographical scope, maybe maybe another area. But you will get that insight when you are reading. You will get that insight by comparing that information with your information. Okay, so to avoid this, while doing plagiarism, these are the benefits of the plagiarism. Paraphrasing. This you understand very well. You can match that. You can refer that piece of information into work by doing paraphrasing. Okay, but how to do it? To do it, you have to cite original work using narrative or parenthetical citation format. What is that? That we will see in the next slide. Always provide page number or paragraph number into your citation wherever it is required. Always cite primary source. If not possible, only then you cite secondary source. Sometimes you have to take entire paragraph, or sometimes you have to take more than one paragraph information from other author works. You want to refer that information into your writing. That time what you have to do, you write citation at the beginning of that paragraph. Okay, citation, in-text citation includes author surname and year of publication. That you have to write at the beginning of the paragraph when you are doing paraphrasing. Paraphrasing, try to understand, it's a using other words, other people words, or other people ideas, but producing it in your own words, or making it relevant to your own research problem, and presenting it with the citation or with the acknowledgement with that other person work. Okay, even though you are writing it in your own words, then also you have to acknowledge that person. You are taking some idea from that work and you are making it in your own work, own words. Then also you have to cite that person. Okay. Then only when you cite, then only it make clear to your reader that okay, this is not your thing, but this is you have cited from that work. Okay, and whenever you are reading one article, the same article, when I will read my perspective, my understanding, my insight regarding that article will be changed, because the relevance of that article is applicable to you may not be applicable to me. From for me it is different. So this is like a chain. If you cite properly, future researcher who will going to use your research, they will understand okay, this is cited from this source, they will go to that original source and they will use that source. If it is paragraph and it continues to the new paragraph, you have to reintroduce that citation again there. If it is big paragraph, huge paragraph, if it incorporates multiple sources or switches among the sources, repeat the citation so the source is clear. Means you are writing one paragraph, but in that paragraph you have taken ideas from different article, different writers, like multiple writers, but you have to club together because you have to present that idea very clearly. When you do this paraphrasing, then it is difficult. Paraphrasing plagiarism, when it is difficult to represent very clearly that idea as the original author has done. But here, when you are writing a paragraph and uh, you have to refer works by the multiple authors, then you have to repeat that citation again and again. Just have a look on this example. You can see here this Elwood. This work is published in 2011, and with him other authors were also there, and Figley 2002. That means same idea or related idea are published by these two authors. This is published in 2011, this is by in 2002, but you have to cite in one para. Then again this line, you can see these authors. Here you will find repetition also. This is the repetition of citation. Okay. So when you are writing big paragraph and you are including multiple authors' works, so you have to cite these authors multiple times. Then only it will not caught in the plagiarism. Now, in paraphrasing plagiarism also, or paraphrasing, there are two types of paraphrasing, as I told you. Word paraphrasing and idea paraphrasing. When you are doing word, so how to avoid that? You have to use signal phrases like I believe that, or you have to include an in-text citation. See, your readers don't know whose work is this. You have to tell them this idea is not mine. I have taken this idea from this author. And therefore, whenever it is your own idea, you can also generate idea. I'm not saying we cannot generate, we can also generate. There are way, there are system that you have to follow. Okay, so when you are generating your own idea, when you are putting forth your idea, and when it will come, when you will read more, when you will read, you will rethink on that, you will reflect on that topic, you will relate it to your research problems. Then only that ideas or the things which you want to say to your reader will come to your mind, and you can write on your paper. So that time you have to use the phrase I believe that. Means this is my own work. You are telling your readers, I believe that. But when you are borrowing it from someone else, you have to give in-text citation. What is in-text citation? That I will tell you in next slide. Then always you have to search for the original source. Many a times you must have read in your research article while doing literature review or while reading for this research topic on which you are working right now. The our main article author is different, but in that article that author must have cited someone else's work, and you impressed with that line, with that fact which is written by someone else's work. In that case, which source you will cite? Can anyone tell me? Hello, Megha madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone raising
Yeah,
hands
yeah,
to this question?
Yashodhara. Yeah, Yashodhara, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
please,
can unmute
Yashodhara
yourself.
ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah, Yashodhara,
Hello,
ma'am, you
ma'am.
can unmute. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We have to cite both the sources and in-text citation also, and in the references also, we will mention that the original sources was
Hmm.
taken from another sources, like
Uh,
the we have
uh,
read.
like, hello. Okay. Okay. So, when we do this word plagiarism, when we read some good argument or some good idea in another paper, and we want to borrow that idea, then incorrect citation is one form of paraphrasing plagiarism. Cite something which is heard somewhere, assuming that it is common knowledge. See, now there is a rule in APA guideline as well as in UGC document also. The things which are named as a common knowledge need not to be cited. Like, for example, sun is bright, sky is on high. These are common knowledge. So these you need not to cite or need not to give any references. But sometimes what happens, we just heard somewhere, some conferences, some seminars, some things, repeatedly we heard those things, and then we started thinking of that. Okay, this is common knowledge. But actually that is not common knowledge. Some idea is reiterated by many people. That does not mean it becomes common knowledge. And while using that thing in your research paper, you have to be very careful. You have to clarify it. You have to search in the literature whether it is common knowledge or whether it is scientifically proved, whether it is written somewhere, and if it is written somewhere, you have to cite that thing. Now, word plagiarism. How to avoid word plagiarism? When you get exact word or phrase from someone else's work, how to avoid it? You have to use quotation mark. Whenever you are getting something from some other words, you have to use quotation mark. Now, how to use quotation mark? For this also there are some rules that I will tell you when we will discuss reference section. So that quotation, using of quotation mark with the author citation, in-text citation is very important. Now, how to avoid it? Best way to avoid paraphrasing plagiarism: read that section of work very carefully, read twice, thrice, and make your own notes in your own words, which will be relevant to your research problem, which will be related to your research problem. Then use quotation marks. Include source location in your notes, means from where you have taken. Whenever you are giving quotation mark, any information in the quotation mark, you have to give page number as well. So location of that phrase, that also you have to provide in your writing. Cite every idea and fact. That is very important. Whatever idea, whatever words, whatever fact, figure, and many times statistical data, for example, to show the relevance of your research problem, what is the real statistical data also you cite, you use in your research writing. So that thing also you have to cite very carefully. And whenever you are using in-text citation in the paraphrasing, you have to start at the beginning. You have to put that in-text citation at the beginning, and then that paragraph will come. First, you will write that author, surname, year, bracket close, and then that paragraph will come. It will establish the originality of the that paragraph at the outset only. People will come to know, no, this is work done by this person. And therefore, whenever we are writing literature review, we are putting first author, surname, and year. And that is why literature review in अपना पूरे थीसिस में सबसे ज़्यादा प्लेजरिज्म आने का जो पॉसिबिलिटीज़ है, दैट इज़ इन फर्स्ट चैप्टर, which is introduction chapter, where you established your idea, your research problem with the help of other research studies which is already done. So in that chapter, very much possibilities of plagiarism. So there you have to be very careful. Second chapter, literature review. Here you already given this in-text citation at the beginning of the paragraph. You know, literature review write this way only. No, you give this and you connect to studies. You established connection between the different studies to prove that this the research problem which you have conducting, it is not studied in this way, the way I am going to study, and that is why this study is unique. So that connection you have to establish in the literature review, and that you do by putting author, surname, and year at the beginning of that para, where you are saying readers or others, this work is taken from this author work. So this is the right way of paraphrasing. So it will not get caught in the plagiarism software. Now, these are the examples. It is of course given by the APA 7th edition only. See, you can see this word in the blue. This is the example when you borrow direct quotation. So if it is written by one author, two authors, three authors, group author, or group author late reference, author is not available, sometimes author is not available. So see this word, contended, according to, reflected, has insisted, and see these quotation marks. You can see this quotation mark, and this is page number. This is author surname, this is year of publication, and some words you have to use which will denote that this work is done by this, and you have to add meaning to this sentence. When you say contended, it has some meaning. When you say American Library Association has insisted that, so it is said by American Library Association. Then in parenthetical citation, two ways are there to put quotation use in your writing. See here also, this word clearly, it is true, however, perhaps. These words, what these words are doing, these are establishing connection between you and your reader. They are telling your readers that this is work done by this author, and it is available on this page number. Okay, so this is the way. And how much? Now As a general rule, not more than 10% of any paper should consist of direct quotation. They say in the formal research paper, you don't use quotations at all. Where you will use quotation? Tell me. In the introduction chapter, you cannot use quotation because you are not writing story. You are writing research report, which is purely based on the scientific findings, which is not based on somebody said something on that day on the air. This is not based on what someone said. It is based on your findings. So therefore, quotations, as far as in your formal research work. Okay, literature review also, you are just putting citations and you are telling, okay, this is this author work. The next chapter is research design. There is also not possible to have plagiarism because research design, okay, when you are putting information about the research methods and the tools of research, techniques of research. In that case, from wherever you are taken that information, of course, you have to borrow that information from somewhere. So that time you have to provide all these citations, not the quotation marks. Okay. And the next chapter is data analysis. It is your own. Then last chapter, summarization and findings. That is also your own chapter. So there is less chances of plagiarism. Now the for paraphrasing also, there are two ways to provide paraphrasing. It's narrative citation and parenthetical citation. You can see these words again. This author surname, year of publication, argued that, believed that, observed, has explained, the author suggested. These words you have to use in your literature review as well to provide the like to tell your users, okay, this is he has argued. And the, as I said, you have to establish link. So establishment of link, how it will be done by using this, and for this proper analysis is required. Whatever you are reading, if you are reading 5 articles, you need to establish link in that article. You need to analyze those articles, what is the difference in those articles while presenting in your literature review, and that you have to make out. Okay, this article is saying, this author is saying this, but this author has done this. So this type of connection you have to establish with these words, and these are the ways to avoid plagiarism. Now there are many softwares to detect plagiarism. How to detect plagiarism? There are many softwares. Some are free, some are paid. But as a PhD scholar and otherwise also, if you are writing any research paper, please don't go to the free softwares. Of course, some people say free softwares also give good result, but it is very difficult because they have their words limit. This Authenticate, Drillbit, Urkund, and Turnitin are the paid softwares. Of course, these are very costly softwares. Maybe all institutes will not afford to buy these softwares. But Urkund, and now we know it as original, the name it changed. And every university, UGC has made it mandatory to all the universities of India to take this Urkund. And UGC is providing. University do not need to pay for this. UGC is providing access through the plagiarism check software to all the affiliated universities. And this, in Mumbai also we have this original, I mean Urdu. Okay, but the thing is, to check in Mumbai University software, they are not allowing affiliated colleges to access this software. Otherwise, other state, other university like Pune University, they are allowing, they are giving access to affiliated colleges as well. But Mumbai University is not giving access to affiliated colleges. You have to pay and you have to get it checked. That is true. If your guide is associated with the university, then only they allow you to check your plagiarism detection in Urdu. And university accept only these two reports, Turnitin and Urdu. Okay. Now why? Why we need to check? What is the purpose of checking this plagiarism? Otherwise, also before submitting, you can check it for yourself, because whatever report you are removing from the university or other with the thesis you have to attach your plagiarism report, and that plagiarism report should be authenticated by your guide. So guide signature. So otherwise, also if you have a doubt, you can check it from other software, other institute, and then you can reduce it. You can always reduce your percentage of the plagiarism. So why? What is the purpose of detection? It gives you 100% originality of your content. It shows you that yes, this is 100% yours, and it helps you to weed out duplicate content with the detection. It avoid content theft, means it immediately show whose content has used in this that scholarship. Keyword density. It allows to increase keyword density. Keywords means the words which you assign to your work. When anyone will search your work on the internet or any other digital platform, it should retrieve fast. If the retrieval is fast, citations are more. So that kind of keywords you have to use and you have to give to your work, that it will retrieval become fast. Whenever any kind of person or any corner of the world, if anyone search for that information, they will immediately get your work. So that is keyword density. You will the software help you to understand or to find out. Then it remove unintentional plagiarism. Whatever plagiarism, as I said, we do it consciously or unconsciously. Sometimes, many a times, it happens unconsciously. So this software helps us to understand, to catch that unintentional plagiarism. Then it provides text statistics, how much words, how many words are there, और टेक्स्ट आर टोटल टेक्स्ट कितने हैं, टोटल वर्ड्स कितने हैं आपके पूरे असाइनमेंट में, वो आपको इससे पता चल जाता है. पूरे रिपोर्ट में ये सारे डिटेल्स आ जाते हैं सॉफ्टवेयर के रिपोर्ट्स में. Here is one example. This is the report generated in Turnitin software. So you can see similarity index. They always say similarity index. They don't say plagiarism. Similarity index is 18%. That means it is not allowed. You can see here, this is one primary source. They give you source name and how much percentage of is plagiarized. So from this source, this author has plagiarized 5%. From this second source, author has plagiarized 2%. So this is the percentage of plagiarism. And here, this is the document where you can see these two. See here, I think it is not visible properly, but either here 2 number is given. You can see the color coding. This color is matching to this sentence. That means this is copied from this source. These sentences are copied from this source. This means that, and this is counted 2%, total 2% plagiarism. So either you have to provide proper source here. See, you can see this author has provided source after this sentence. That is why it got. If this citation would have given here at the beginning of the sentence, then you could have understand that this paragraph is written by this author. Okay, so this is the reason why it has got in this plagiarism report. This is the report of Turnitin software. Then so report here it is says 6%. 6% actually allowed, but I have taken this to just to show you an example how the report is prepared. Urkun, they have different style of presentation. Here you get such kind of report. See, here you can see 92% matching words, 83% matching words, 95. Here you have 100% matching words. So if it would have been 10 more than 10%, then author would have to work on this 100%. That 100% you have to reduce. So whenever Urkun reports come, it shows you text and the percentage of matching, similarity. And then that you have to rework on that percentage to reduce that percentage. Okay, but my analysis is when it is showing 6% in the Urkul original, when you check same report in the Turnitin, it will show 10%. Turnitin report is always higher side because the mechanism of the software is they incorporate all the database which are available online. So it is depend on the extent of the databases included in this software. And Turnitin supposed to be having high number of softwares and they are sorry databases and the information resources. And therefore, whenever you check your plagiarism report in the Turnitin, the number is high, the percentage is high. So this is the main reason why when you check in the local software, for example, we are having drill bit. So drill bit percentage will be little high in original. Drill bit is the indigenous software. It is developed by the Indian company. So it is having less databases incorporated in the software. So therefore, the result which shows in drill bit is relatively high with the Urkund, and the result which is shown in Urkund is relatively low by the Turnitin. Now, this is in short. To avoid plagiarism, cite your source completely and accurately, acknowledge another person's ideas, opinion, theory, any fact, statistic, graphs, table, piece of any information you are borrowing, that you have to cite or you have to acknowledge. Then quotation marks you have to use, and paraphrasing very cleverly and very accurately you have to do paraphrasing of other person's spoken word. In the plagiarism software, that is not actually, I am telling you only for your information. Whenever you are uploading your thesis, you have to, this software excludes common knowledge, this software excludes common fact. For example, company law. Company law is a term that is very commonly used. If it is appearing again and again you are in your paper, that term automatically get excluded from the software. It will not count as a plagiarism. Then figures, facts, which are like, sorry, not figures, facts, table of content, bibliography, acknowledgement, all the preliminary things of your thesis are not considered for the plagiarism check. Only your actual 5 chapters are considered for the plagiarism check. Appendices which you add, that is also not considered for the plagiarism check. Now, to avoid plagiarism, as I said, you have to use reference style and index citation. So how to do that? How to use referencing or how to use index citation? As I said, the objective of referencing is to avoid again plagiarism. It's a moral and legal responsibility of the research scholar. Also, it helps to verify these and locate the sources of information which you have used. If someone wants to refer, if someone wants refer your article, we also do this when we are reading someone else's work and we find that work is very much useful or relevant to our study. That time we go to where at the end of the article and we see what references they have cited and we try to locate those references to find out the primary information, to find out the exact information what that author has originally said. Okay, it allows you to retrace your steps and locate information you have used for assignment. It discover further views or ideas discussed by the author and is demonstrate you have located relevant information. That means what in thesis, whenever you are writing references correctly, accurately, it shows that you have referred this many references. Now in thesis also there are two parts, references and bibliography. There is a difference between references and bibliography. References means actual resources which you refer in your entire work, where you which you write in the index citation, that is your actual references. So that list is different. And bibliography is you have read that book but you have not cited that book in your book, in your work. You have read that article but you have not cited. Many a times to understand or to get exact and clear idea of your research type, you read books as well, but those books just give you insight, that doesn't help you to cite in your work. So those books and those resources, those material will come under the bibliography. So this is the basic difference between references and bibliography. Bibliography also shows you that person has read this many resources. References shows you have located relevant references. Relevant means related to your study. the resources which are helpful to carry out your study. Those resources you can demonstrate to the reference list. Now there are three, actually ample of reference style manuals are available or reference styles are available. But as I mentioned earlier, we social scientists used APA, American Psychological Association. Then we have MLA, Modern Language Association of America for language and literature. Then we have Chicago for arts and humanities, for the history and fine arts. The special feature of Chicago, it has a provision of providing footnote referencing and author date referencing. I today I am focusing only on the APA. We are not discussing MLA and Chicago because that will take another hour. So I am just focusing on the APA style, where how to arrange this reference list always should be arranged in the alphabetical order by the surname of the author. This is the rule. Okay, that you have to follow. Then if it is a more than one work by the same author. Same author has written 2-3 articles and you have cited those articles, then you have to write in the references by oldest to newest. First, that means if you have referred article of that author written in the year 2018, then he has written in the 2019 and then he has written 2022. So you have to write first oldest to newest, means 18, 19 and 22. Then if there is no author, then your entry will start with the title. The prepositions like a or the you should exclude from the uh, alphabetical list. Okay, you have to type, you have to use only exact title. You have to remove this, you have to exclude these words. You can write this, but it will not arrange according to this order. Do not create separate list for the information sources. That means sometimes people are creating different lists. अगर book है तो book का एक separate list हो जाता है, फिर journal articles है उसका एक separate list हो जाता है, या आप लोगों ने कुछ वेबसाइट्स रेफर की है तो उसका एक separate list हो जाता है. तो ऐसे नहीं करना है. You have to make one single list and which has to be organized in alphabetical order. Okay, you have to write title of the book, title of the journal in italic, and always write first word of the title or subtitle in capital form. If there is a subtitle, you have to separate it with the semicolon, and second line of the references should have left hand justified sign. Okay, you have to leave some space on the second line. Okay, you have to indented that second line of your references. Use this and instead of this and. This and is A and D is not allowed. You have to use this shortcut. And this is the in-text citation where you have to use in bracket author last name and year. These 6 W's you have to remember, that who has written that particular piece of information or who has edited, then date, when was it written, then what is the title of that book or that journal article or web document, where was it published, so publication details here you have to remember, and where was the article located, means volume number, issue number. When it is a foreign publication, sometimes they don't write volume number, issue number, they just write month or season. If you see journals published by the foreign publishers, there you will find season like winter, summer, like this. And from where you have taken, from the internet, from any or from any other source, that you have to take care of when writing the references. These are the way how to write. Like if the book, so it will come like this: author surname, and this is first name initial. Then this is a sequence actually. This is first it will come author last name, then year in the bracket, and then full stop. Then you have to capitalize the first word of the title and use colon, and then you have to write edition. Then the next one is place of publication and then the publisher name. First you will write place of publication and then you will write publisher name. That is also, there are some rules that you cannot write entire name of the publisher. You have to make it small. Okay, so these are the actual rules to be that you have to follow while writing your references. That is a different thing nowadays. Many online databases, for example enlist, those who are having enlist, in enlist also, if you go to JSTOR, maybe you are aware, JSTOR gives, it's a very popular database of online research journal. It gives you ready-made citation. You need not to worry about the citation, means about the reference type. You just go for the cite this item. If you click on cite this, it will give you all the patterns, APA, Chicago, MLA, and whichever pattern you want, you can just copy it and paste it in your work. So this is the benefit of having online resources as well. Even EBSCOhost is one of the database, and Wilson, which you will find in Enlist only. They also provide, many online databases actually provides ready-made citation. So where you need not to bother, but at least when you are citing print resources, you have to keep in mind these rules and these techniques. There are also rules for the in-text citation. You can see this. This is two author work. You have to write surname of these authors and put comma and then year of publication. If you are writing this way, entire sentence is finished and then you are providing this citation. Otherwise, if you are writing this way, you have to make like this. Some connection you have to establish, state, emphasize, like this. And this is your at the end of reference list. In the reference list, entry will show like this. In the in-text citation, it will reflect like this. If there are 4 or 5 authors, at the first time when you are citing, you have to cite all the 4 authors' surname with the year and in the reference list. And if the second time you are citing, you have to just write first name, author, surname, and write et al. And others. So this is year. Okay. If there are 6 or 7 authors, cite only last name of the first author followed by eta. If there are 8 and more than 8 authors, then you have to cite last name of the first author followed by eta first time, and and uh, you have to include first 6 authors in surname in your reference and use these ellipse points before concluding with the last author name. If groups as an author, means many a times government documents you use to support your research or support your whatever arguments you are making in your study. To support that, sometimes you use government documents as well. So when first time you are citing, that time you have to write entire thing like Ministry of Health. Second time you can write shortcut abbreviation of this, but in reference list this will come like this, like Ministry of Health full stop and the year of publication and the title of the report. And if the author and publisher is same, then author will come if the publisher place. Similar information referred by more than one author. As I said, multiple uh, resources written by the multiple authors. You are referring that if you are reading 4-5 articles together and you find out some line in between similarity in these what they want to propose, which idea they want to propose. So in that case, you have to cite all the authors like this with the whatever idea you have borrowed. For that you have to cite this. Then citing a secondary source. This is very important. As I told you, when you are referring someone else, some other author's work, and you will find in the research article that author has already cited someone. That work you liked or that idea you want to relate to your work. In that case, what you have to do? You have to, of course, search for the that secondary author in the literature, that you will get details in the reference list. If you are not getting that secondary author. Okay, this work is written by this author. If you are not getting, then you have to write, you have to cite as in Polit and that 2008. Means you have to write reference. This is C. This is the original, this is the author whose work you are reading. Okay, and in his work he has included this thing. So when you are citing this, he has cited this author, Fawcett. So you have to write, you have to give entry in text citation, Fawcett in the bracket as cited in Polit and date 2008 and the matter which you are citing. And in the reference list, you have to give entry for this because you are referring this author work, correct? This is the secondary author which he has referred. Polit has referred this Fawcett. So Fawcett you have to give entry in the index citation, and in reference list you have to give entry like this, Polit. Then for the quotation, if you are putting short quotation like one line quotation, so include author last name and the year of publication. If you are include short quotation which is less than 40 words, then you have to write it in double quotation mark with the in-text citation. And if it is large quote, means more than 20 words, then you must have seen in many research article there is one para which is separated from the actual section of that article, and that para is standing like separately. That piece of text is like a block in that entire research article and standing separately. That means it's denoting that these words are taken uh, from the other work. It is not that author's or original work. So you have to make it stand separately from the entire work. You have to double space that entire quote, and at the end of the quote you have to include author surname, year of publication and page number when you are citing quotation or one para of the written or of said by the someone else. This is the simple entry of if the book is written by the one author, you have to write first surname of the author, then you have to put comma, then initial of first name, then in bracket you have to write year, full stop, and this is title of the book. This is the publication, publisher and publication place. So if the editor entry will go same, like in the bracket you have to put ed, only this is the difference of the entry. If the books have editors and edition, books with the editors, more than one editor, then entry will go like this. You have to add s to the ed and bracket is closed. Chapter in an edited book, you have to give reference entry like this. If you are citing using only one chapter from the book, then this is the chapter entry. Okay, this is the name of the chapter writer, surname, year of that book publication year. This is the chapter title, chapter name. This is title of the book, evidence based sports medicine, and this is editor of that book, Indy Macaulay editors. Okay, so like this you have to cite chapter in a editor. Then this is the way how you will cite serials or journal articles. You have to first write author's name, then year, then title of the article. Same rules, like it should be in italics, then volume number, issue number. As I told you, in the journal, foreign journals, you have month and season. Page number is important in the journal entry, and this digital object identifier. If you have DOI, that you can cite here. The sequence of this, if the print journal is here, simple entry, author surname, year, this is the title of the uh, article, and this is title of the journal which is written in italic. Then if it is more than one author, same entry will, all authors will be listed. More than one author and online DOI है, तो DOI करके आपकी एंट्री ऐसी आ जाएगी. एंड में यू हैव टू मेंशन DOI. दिस इज जर्नल टाइटल. टाइटल ऑलवेज रिटन इन इटली, ये आप याद रखो. Then if it is from the EBSCO, I mean online databases, then this is the pattern. You have to write these words. Retrieve from. Okay. You have to give entire entry like this. See, you can see here. This is journal title, Journal of Clinical Nursing. This is volume number, which is written out of bracket. This is volume number. In the bracket, we write issue number. Okay, and this then afterwards you have comma, and these are the page number. You write only numbers. You don't write page number in the alphabet. Okay, only numbers will come here, and you have to write then retrieve from, and this website will come from where you have taken that particular article. If there are some personal communication and you want to cite in your research, you can do that, but only you have to give in-text citation. You don't have to add that personal communication into the list of references. You just give like this. See, personal communication, September 30, 2011. Month and year, and you have to mention for it is a personal communication. You can cite print thesis or online thesis. Nowadays all theses are available online. ProQuest is a database for the foreign thesis, and Shobganga is a database for the Indian thesis. All UGC has made it mandatory to all the universities. In India we have around 700 universities, and uh, all university, including Mumbai University, uploading their thesis in the Shobganga. This is totally free resource. You can download thesis from the Shobganga, as well as ProQuest is for the foreign thesis. So ProQuest, I think Mumbai University is subscribing, and they give you membership for a limited period as well to refer these databases. Sorry. Then print thesis, you have to just write like a book, author surname, thesis title in italic, and from where it is taken, master thesis hai, kya hai, university, that you have to write. If it is online, you have to write author's detail, and you have to write this um, in the bracket, doctoral dissertation and the university name, and then you have to write retrieve from and URL. Okay. If you understand these rules and you follow these rules to cite your in-text citation as well as your reference list, your research work will be totally, I would not say totally plagiarism free, but of course percentage of plagiarism or similarity index will automatically reduced. It will not catch in the plagiarism index, similarity index. So if you follow all these rules very particularly, if you are very particular, start reading and start following all these rules. And this is MLA style, which is for the language and literature. I'm not going in detail in this. Um, this is for online journal article. Now let's understand what is the difference between ethics versus law. Ethics are always a rule of conduct. It is not mentioned in any law or any legal document. It is rules of conduct that made by someone, by, I mean, institutions. Like in colleges also we make code of conduct for our students. That is part of ethical behavior only. But laws are the rules developed by the government to maintain balance in the society and protect its citizens. Ethics are the guidelines and principles to tell others, to tell people, to inform students how to behave in a particular situation, which behavior is desirable and which behavior is undesirable. Whereas law consists set of rules and regulations that everyone has to follow. Ethic basically deals with the morality of code of conduct, and laws maintain social order and peace. If you break that, you will have a stringent repercussion of this. Ethics, of course, a matter of individual choices. That is, it is up to you which way you want to adopt or which way you want to go. Whether ethical consideration is most important for you in your writings, in your research process, that is up to you. It's your choice which way you want to follow, which ethics you want to follow. We expect that all the research scholars should follow these research ethics and should maintain their research. Should in the research process they should understand all these ethical decisions, ethical arguments, and apply these ethics in your research. Then only your scholarship will have that much value, that much weightage in the world of knowledge or in the literary world. People will people will refer your work. As I said, you should have to develop that trust among your readers, among the people, that okay, why people are saying published in Scopus and Web of Science, because they accept that much quality content where people actually putting their honest work, and therefore they are getting more citations in the Web of Science and Scopus. That is the main reason why it is difficult to get published in these resources, in these databases. Because of this only, if you work honestly, if you follow all the ethical guidelines, your work will be definitely accepted by this publisher, and it will ultimately increase your reputation amongst the academician. People will start recognizing you by your work. They will understand your quality parameters. So these are the things as academicians I think we should follow, and so that it will automatically come to our student, and it will help to nation building as well. And law creates, of course, legal obligations. So this is the main difference between law and ethics. Now, at nutshell, what is academic honesty in research? So we expect you to express your original ideas in your research work. We expect you to cite all the resources, all the information, whatever you are using to support your research, to make it quality research. Please work independently. Don't borrow anything from any source. Show your commitment in your research, and we expect you to behave honestly and on uphold the morals of the research ethics. Result accurately, report whatever result will come. Your research report should be very accurately and honestly. These are the expectations from today's PhD scholars. And how you will achieve this? Read, read, reflect, and retain. These three R's are very important in any academician's life. Read, read, rethink, reflect, and retain. Of course, your work will have that quality indicators which we are expecting from you. So thank you so much. This is my presentation for today. This is references. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Megha madam. I have finished before time, I think.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we can have a question answer round because it was a really elaborative one, and I'm sure participants will have some queries regarding it, or they want to share their views or ask questions. So it's a
Sure,
open
sure.
forum, yeah, open for participants to share their views and ask the questions. Anyone?
I think it was too broad. Lots of information included.
Yes, yes. Yes, Yashodhara, you can unmute.
Hello, ma'am. Firstly, I want to thank you for that incredible session. It was really, really helpful. Ma'am, I have completed my MSc dissertation, and I
Okay.
have get done with my black book as well. Now I
Okay.
want to publish a paper based
Hmm.
on my findings. So
Hmm.
how to go about it? How to avoid self-plagiarism, and how to go about it? Please enlighten us.
Yes, you, as I told, as per according to APA 7th edition, it is allowed if you want to publish some part of your dissertation uh, again, okay? But provided you should provide author note at the end of the article or beginning of the article. Same findings, you mean to say you will add different meaning to this. I mean, the uh, same thing as it is, you cannot publish. You have to rethink on that. You have to rework on that. You can take some part, but for that also, you have to mention in the acknowledgement that is these findings or this article is based on your previously published dissertation. Okay. In author notes, you have to acknowledge yourself. Then only it will not come in self-plagiarism.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Any more questions that we have? I think it was very much clear, and till the time they don't experience it, or we don't practice it, maybe we'll not come up with the queries. But
Actually.
yeah, because it was more in practical rather than, and I'm sure your PPT and your content is really going to help them at the time of preparing references.
Mm-hmm.
Because many a times we collect the data, we review a lot of journals and research papers, but the main challenge that we face is at the end when we try to compile everything and try to give the references. So I'm sure these participants will remember your ideas and your content at the time when they are preparing their thesis and when they are synchronizing their work. And we also take this opportunity to thank you, ma'am, for taking out the time and sharing your experience with the participants.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Coming to the participants, we will be sharing the feedback link for today's workshop, today's session as well. And we meet on Monday, and tomorrow we'll not have any session. We'll be meeting on Monday, and we'll have a session for day after tomorrow, that is for Tuesday. The resource person has requested us to download one software. The link for the same will also be shared to you in your WhatsApp group. Maybe by today evening, I'll try to share it. And I request the participants to download it beforehand on your laptop so that when the resource person is explaining us, we will be able to have a hands-on practice at our own end. I'm talking about Tuesday's session. Okay. We'll wind up here for today. Thank you so much.